Hey everyone, this is Fabio and welcome back. Today it's time for another game discussion video. I know, just made one the other day, but I didn't expect to finish this game in such a short time, but for a good reason, simply because I couldn't put this game down. So I haven't had gaming sessions like this since the beginning of the year when I played Trails of Cold Steel, basically. And the game I'm talking about is none other than The Wolf Among Us by Telltale Games. So far, easily my favorite Telltale game. Also because I only play, other than this, the episode 1 of The Walking Dead and the 400 Days, which are both amazing. And I still need to find episode 2 of The Walking Dead. But Wolf Among Us really hit a nerve for me, since due to the fact that I'm a huge fan of film noirs, both old school and kind of neo-noir, you can say. Um, this sort of detective story, but with heavy emphasis on the atmosphere and the style. It's a huge selling point for me. And I remember listening to the review by the funny nerd. The way he talked about it really sold me on this, because I was interested into this, but I wasn't. I remember since a long time. I was always looking at Amazon, but I wasn't entirely sure. I mean, the concept of like uh, characters from fairy tales. I was like, okay, I don't know. I mean, it sounded interesting, but on the other hand, I couldn't imagine to be like this. That's the thing. I mean, it's not for kids, that's for sure. But the way he was talking about like being a sort of film noir and having that sort of atmosphere, I was like, oh man, I definitely need to check this out. And managed to find it for a decent price. Was not too expensive. Like this morning, I was checking on some other Vita games, since I'm always happy to expand my collection. Since I really love the Vita, and some of the games they just don't go down in price, or at least they keep their value in a way. But managed to get Wolf Among Us, started it. I was planning to start it before Dragon Ball Z, but that Dragon Ball was so much fun that I had to play that. But then finally managed to play something different from an RPG, and man, I enjoyed it. I'm thinking about it played again, making some different decisions, um, because that's an interesting thing with Telltale games. You can experience sort of the same story, but with a different um, journey getting there. But I really, really enjoyed this. As I said, I couldn't put it down, and I was like, I'm playing this game for like 2 hours now. I want to do something else, but like a new chapter was starting, or a new act in an episode was starting, and it was really, really. I was addicted to this game, especially the first day. I didn't expect it. Like I think I played for 3-4 hours or something like that. I was like, whoa, what happened? But let's start with the story, and it takes place in New York City, in a borough, we might say, called Fabletown. Basically, there had been a event called the Exodus, so all characters from major fairy tales and folklore had to leave their world and come into our world, where they live this like disguised as humans due to a spell called Glamorous. Yes, Glamorous. And you play as Big Wolf. Is it name or surname? Now I'm confused. Big B Wolf. There you go. It's this Wolf is the surname. The big bad wolf from all fairy tales, and a murder happened, and it's basically described as like the first real murder case in Fabletown, which is interesting. And you have to investigate in order to discover what happened, and in the process you discover more about yourself, about other characters, about all the actual issues and secrets and all these now I cannot find the right word. All the dirt, let's say, all this, everything that's wrong with Fabletown. That's it's not like all this rotten. There you go, rotten underworld of Fabletown. That it was not. It's hard to say it was not known to the authorities, Ichabod Crane and the acting mayor and his assistant Snow White. They kind of act in a sort of maybe naive way, in a way, especially Snow White. When progressively she discovers, thanks to you, all these things, she's always surprised. But I don't know if something that you really don't know. I mean, someone knows, of course, but I really need to be careful not to spoil anything because the story is so good. It's, of course, like all Telltale games, the reason to play and enjoy it is the story, naturally. But Progressive You investigate this case and discover all this truth behind the murders and more about Fabletown. Now, I cannot talk too much about the story, as I said, because it's so easy giving up spoilers, but I love all this cast of broken characters, mainly. I mean, forget the happiness and cheerfulness of fairy tales as we remember as kids. Even though if you read some actual fairy tales, they're not as happy. But seeing them like in a modern or this contemporary setting, such as New York City, doing normal jobs, getting drunk, smoking cigarettes, selling this spell in a way that is almost like a sort of drug dealing. It's so awesome. I mean, it's a really mature looking at these characters. I know there are from a graphic novel called Fables, simply, I think. And I don't know if I want to read it now. We'll see. Like, it was a character I really liked interacting with. Other than Snow White, but we might talk about her later. I really like the interaction between Bigby and the Woodsman, for example. Like, out of the Little Red Riding Hood story. It's awesome. Especially, like, for example, it's not a big spoiler, in my playthrough, I progressively become kind of friends, or at least friendly with him. Like, I've chosen that path, for example, with him. But that's the reason. I mean, if you played a Telltale game before, you know how this works. I mean, how this game works. Every now and then, quite often, you have to participate to a discussion and make a decision on what to say. And what you say will have an impact on the development of the story, because they say, like, this certain character will remember this, they were pleased to hear that, they were angry. You have to make decisions, like where to go first, who to follow, for example, all this kind of stuff, and even very important ones in the end, like, do you want to kill someone or not? I mean, it goes from very simple matters to very serious stuff. But it's the thing that drives me crazy. I mean, it's not a complaint, it's just something. It's the time limit in this decision. Sometimes it took me a bit just to read them all, and you basically have like 3 seconds before choosing like a earth-shattering decision. Maybe, do you want to kill him or not? Like, that's something that I don't love, let's say, about Telltales. I understand, I mean, it's cool because they add some additional pressure on you, so you have to be quick in making your decisions. And contrary to Walking Dead, I say, I didn't reset the game too often in terms of, like, when I took a bad decision. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's weird to process this. Basically, at the end of the day, I was very happy with my playthrough. I think I did a lot of correct decisions in my point of view, even some extreme one. For example, again, not a spoiler, at one point I decided to maim a guy ripping off his arm. If you played it, you know what I mean. Simply because, like, one thing that I wanted to be sure it's develop as much as possible the friendship relationship between Bigby and Snow White. That it's something that I absolutely love in this game. Maybe it's not explicit in the term of like a love story, but to me it was clear as day. I really like their interaction between each other. I love talking with Snow, and I really wanted like him to be really kind of open about his feelings for her. Like, I don't know, I did that to protect you and stuff like that. I don't know. I really like the idea of Snow White and the wolf together, or at least like having this really close friendship, and him wanted to do everything in order to protect her. But while with others, I was much more of a badass, I have to say. Like, as I said, I rip a guy's arm off. But the problem with these games is too difficult to talk about it without giving spoilers. I mean, that decision that I did with the arm, it's not very important, I think, for the story. I hope not, but basically because like the way he was talking at that point was basically insulting Snow, and I would say, oh yeah, there you go. He also was also insulting me in a way. You're just a lapdog, something like that. But I absolutely love the setting. I love these characters. You know, in a way, it also reminded me in some way of Twin Peaks as well, since this like not necessarily a little town, but in this way, like this community that it still counts. With all these broken characters, with secrets and all these things. I mean, when you discover more, for example, about Ichabod Crane, you're like, holy shit. And others, I mean, everybody has secrets, everybody has things they won't say, and it's also very cool to know more about Bigby progressively. Like, there are some mention about Little Red Riding Hood, for example, or like about his past, of course, that he has to deal with it since he is the bad wolf, but at the same time he is the sheriff of Fabletown. He's responsible for be sure that people is the fables are safe. They have a normal interaction with normal people who are in this are called the mundanes, the mundis. And it's cool that they also mention this sort of prison called the farm, where all the fables who are not in a human form are sent. But I mean, I loved everything about this, and of course, like a huge selling point for me, other than this amazingly well developed but also broken characters, and all the secrets that this, as I said, Twin Peaks feeling. It also has this film noirness that, oh, I absolutely loved it. I mean, the darkness in the alley, it is... The formula, it's not entirely there. I don't know, like, I don't know if Snow White counts as the femme fatale, who is the cause of the ruin for the protagonist, but in a way she's instrumental for the protagonist, so it kind of counts. And there are a lot of twists and turns in the story. But at the end of the day, I was very happy the way I ended it. Even the final decision, I was like, yes. I just stand there, take a smoke, and then go back. I love that. For example, it really fitted the character for me, the character that I developed Bigby to be. That's the interesting thing, because I'm sure that your playthrough was completely different from mine, and I kind of wanted to explore it once more. It's rare. I mean, especially with these Telltale games. I mean, with Walking Dead, when I beat that game, after that excruciating ending, which is really cool, but I didn't replay that. And it's interesting to say that I almost preferred the 400 Days game rather than the full episodes. It's weird. I mean, I love both of them, of course. I'm not trying to criticize The Walking Dead. It's a phenomenal experience, and I cannot wait to play the second episode. It's always expensive. And but I love the formula of the 400 Days, like this group coming together with all its, like, their mini stories. Yeah, I wish it was a bit longer, but it was an expansion, so it's fine. But it could have been its own game with that formula. I would have loved that. But for the most part, as I say, I love Wolf Among Us so much more because I thought also it's much more heavily focused on the story and the characters. There's so less action. There are a lot of action scenes, of course, like you are in a fight, for example, with the typical like Telltale style that you have to like press the button at the right time with the right aim while the cursor is moving all around. Sometimes it's very confusing, but there are not too many of them. And after the first couple of them, you get used to them and it gets very easy. But it's not the point of this game. The point of this game is the story. It's talking with these other characters, like building the story. And it's amazing. I loved it. And as I said, I like this much more than Walking Dead. But it's also like for the type of story that it was. Like as I said before, the film noir, but also like these sort of characters. To me, they were much better like constructed and structured than the characters from Walking Dead, for example. Because honestly, I think the real interesting characters in that game were mainly Lee and Clementine. And now I cannot remember, but also like the Duck's father. I cannot remember his name now. Like I friggin' hated Duck. He was an idiot. But his father was a good character. Now I cannot remember the name. But overall, I think in here were so many interesting characters, good and bad. I mean, other than Big Bean Snow, which were amazing. I love those characters. I love their interaction. But also others, like all the prostitutes were very interesting in their way. The Ichabod Crane, the Woodsman, all of them, like there are all these characters from Colin the pig. I would have liked some more dialogues with Colin. It was kind of cool in a way, sort of roomy. From the Three Little Pigs story is funny, but yeah, I mean, I really wish there's going to be a sequel. I have no idea if it's going to happen. But I suppose this game did well. I mean, it's very highly regarded in general. Like most of these Telltale games, they're really simple in a way. I think I like the graphical style, but I've heard not really complainings, but there are some issues, especially on the Vita, I think. But I don't remember. It was also on other consoles like the PS3, because these games are on every possible console. Maybe not Nintendo, of course, but I don't understand why. Why not? Imagine playing like The Wolf Among Us on the Wii U with the pad. It would be very, very convenient actually. But how can you take this game seriously if you're on the Wii U, right? Stupid. But like from a technical point of view, they were fine to me. I'm not like a hipster gamer. I don't care if there are some issues with the graphics, like as long it's kind of in the background or something. I mean, if it's a broken down game, of course I'm going to notice that, but frame issues or something like that, I don't care. That's not the reason why I play these games, and that's the main reason why I get these games on the Vita if I can. Why do I need to play this on the PS3, honestly? There's no reason to. Having this on the go, it's perfection to me. I keep saying that. I know Telltale is not going to make them on the Vita anymore. Think like there's going to be a Walking Dead episode 3. It's not going to be on the Vita. I'm interested in that Tales from the Borderlands for whatever reason. Mainly because it's a Telltale game. Like I never care for Borderlands, but because it's a Telltale game in a post-apocalyptic world, count me in. But of course it's not on the Vita, so it's not really a problem. It's simply I prefer playing them on this. Like I'm definitely gonna get Walking Dead 2 on the Vita. For the others, we'll see. But Wolf Among Us, definitely a must. If you own a Vita, you have to have Wolf Among Us there. Unless you have your other system, then these Telltale games are not worth double dipping, triple dipping, or something like that. But my recommendation is to get them on the Vita. I mean, because like from a graphical point of view, what's the difference? Honestly, maybe they're a bit prettier and they have like less issues, but is it really worth it getting them on the PS4? I don't think so. To me, as I said, it's absolutely perfect playing this on the Vita. But as I was saying before, I went on a major tangent here. I would love to see a sequel. I don't know if they're considering it, they're planning to do one. God, I hope so, because just imagine how many more fairy tales are there for them to dip their toes in. And I think the graphic novel is very long, actually. So maybe they can take inspiration for that, like add more characters from, I don't know, how's it? Oh god, I cannot remember the name in English now. That it's the 1001 Nights? Oh, sorry about that, because I never thought about the title in English of that. For example, for that, like having Scheherazade from that, or I don't know, like what happened to Cinderella? There is a file on her in this game. I would love to see her, Cindy. It was cool seeing Beauty and Beast the way they are, like this couple with issues. It's very cool. For example, all that mini story there, which it's all connected with the grand scheme of things, of course. I would love to see Little Red Riding Hood now. Who knows, and so many others, that kind of thing. Like I would love to see Peter Pan, for example, in this, or Robin Hood. I mean, there's so many. Like the what's that? Like the Ice Frost or Frozen Queen from Christensen. That would be cool. I mean, there's so many fairy tales, simply like from the European folklore, like Western folklore, that we can work on to have like another chapter of this and following more adventures of Bigby and Snow, because they have to be together to me, not just from a sentimental point of view, but like a working couple, let's say, like the boss and the deputy or something like that. I mean, I really love those two working together. So I really hope that Telltale will make another one. I think now they're getting ready for the third Evil Dead. Wow, whoa, can you imagine? We have to make it a petition that a Telltale Evil Dead game. Oh my god, that would be awesome. With the voice of Bruce Campbell. Without it, it's not the same. But oh god, that would be awesome. I cannot wait. It's never going to happen, of course. But completely lost my train of thoughts now. But anyways, yeah, I was just saying that I would love to see a sequel. Yeah, Evil Dead Telltale game. Make it happen, Telltale. That would be amazing. To hear on the PS Vita. Hail to the king, baby. And with this wisdom, I just stopped there because I completely lost my train of thoughts. I don't remember what I was saying. But let's end it up with another huge recommendation here. I mean, I beat this game in a couple of days, but I kind of want to play it again to make some different decisions here and there. But it's absolutely amazing. I love the mystery, looking for clues. I love these characters. I love the setting and the noir atmosphere. I cannot stress that enough how big that was for me. I love, like, the bad guys were amazing. Where do we even start? I don't want to talk about them because I don't want to spoil them, but the main two bad guys were fantastic. I love those two evil bastards. And the twists and turns, like, it's fantastic. I mean, and then Bigby, it's a really, really cool character. I mean, it's the archetype of the noir detective to me, like the broken down but good at heart, who really cares about the safety of the town and the people. At least in my playthrough. Maybe you made it completely like an asshole who doesn't care about anyone. Why not? That's a possibility. That's the cool thing about these games. So definitely check it out, The Wolf Among Us. Huge recommendation. Fantastic game. Watch also the Funny Nerd review. He talks very well about it. And that's it for me. I'm gonna move to the other PS Vita game that I'm playing, and really excited about that. So, thanks for watching, like always, guys. Again, I lost my train of thoughts again. What's happening? It's still morning here. No, not really, but Oh boy, what's happened? What a train wreck now. Thanks for watching, guys, like always. I'll see you next time. Take care.